Mr. Alley, we need to make accommodations for your next witness. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
The clerk is going to collect your cell phones, watches, key fobs, anything electrical. If you prefer not to, please secure your items outside this room. Thank you for understanding.
Your phone, sir?
I left it in the car.
Or not? Where is your phone? I don't believe you.
Trying to provoke something out of him, you think? I don't
know. Oh my god.
Sorry, sirs.
Oh my god, just right there. I don't know what you took that, but I'm glad he's back. What was his name?
Hurdle, like, oh my gosh.
That's why he asked if we needed to fit him in a small space, because he's so big.
Please raise your right hand.
Now, what did he take, though?
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm sure that it's going to be essential to the case.
Did you state your name? What I would like to hear about is this tape. What compelled you to make it?
I had a suspicion my brother had tampered with documents in a case I was working on.
Now, why would he do that? Doesn't sound particularly brotherly.
I believe it was his hope that the tainted documents would cause the client to become disillusioned with my representation.
And at the time, would you say that you were in possession of your faculties? All due respect, but you do sound somewhat unhinged on the recording.
Yes, I understand that. But what you heard was theater, a performance, play acting. I exaggerated the symptoms of my disease to extract the truth.
Can we talk about your disease for a moment?
It is sometimes referred to as EHS, electromagnetic hypersensitivity. I describe it as an acute allergy to electromagnetism.
Would you say that your illness affects your ability to think clearly?
No, it affects me physically. It causes me great pain. However, I'm perfectly lucid.
Do you hate your brother?
Here comes the theatrical part.
Not. I love my brother. There's nothing malicious in Jimmy. But what I know for sure is that the law is too important to be toyed with.
Oh my gosh, I practice
It's
so much
mankind's
that you
greatest
believe
achievement.
it.
The rule of law, the idea that no matter who you are, your actions have consequences.
Well, he has a point, though.
No,
The way my brother
I
treats
agree
the
with
law.
that.
I believe he believes himself.
That's enough for you.
Oh my god. Oh,
That's twisting the knife in the wound, guys.
no, but what is she gonna confess to? I believe she's a witness or something.
To his
Or is she just
condition.
there to mess him up? Sorry.
Maybe
I'm
both.
sorry, Rebecca.
Chuck, it's good to see you.
I have to say, I'm a bit surprised.
Yeah, us too.
Did Jimmy subpoena you? You're not on the witness list. You don't have to testify.
No, I'm not here for that.
Okay.
Well, what then?
Chuck, I wish you'd told me. I can't believe what you've been going through.
You told her about
How
the
long
illness?
has it been?
You're here to help. Is that what Jimmy told you?
He's worried about you, Chuck. In spite of everything that's happened between the two of you, he cares.
What exactly did he say?
Well, that you had been sick, allergic to electricity. He sent me pictures of the house. Chuck, my God.
The photos Mike took?
Why didn't you tell me?
I didn't want to upset you.
Now what's the
If we
plan?
send the bill of goods, Rebecca,
Now that she's here, what?
I want you to see what's what.
Yeah, let's see what's what.
At this time, I'd like to turn cross-examination over to my co-counsel, James McGill.
Of course, he was the one that was gonna ask questions to his brother. It's gonna get personal.
A lot of fuss about it, but you and I have never really talked about. Would you like to set the scene for the disciplinary committee? Tell them, what your house looked like at the time of the recording.
Objection. Relevance?
Well, the circumstances of the recording are materially relevant. How can you know what the tape really means unless you know what was going on when it was recorded? Overruled. The witness could answer the question.
I covered most of the walls with foil scrim craft
Both of the wall,
insulation.
everything you mean.
I also hung a number of space blankets.
How did you know it would work?
What do you mean?
How did you know your provocation would work? Why'd you think a bunch of shiny plastic would make me say
'Cause he
anything?
cares.
Isn't it because you knew that it was precisely the thing that would worry me so much that I'd say anything to talk you down?
Objection.
Okay, withdrawn. Let's get back to your house. Every surface
covered in tinfoil. Nothing crazy about that, huh?
As I've said, I was playing up my condition. Usually it's a perfectly normal house.
You think your house is normal? Can I call your attention to Exhibit 9? There's a camp stove. There's a lantern on top of newspapers. You call this normal?
I call them adaptations. A prophylactic measure for a physical...
He calls it crazy.
condition.
Did the doctor... In order to understand what I was thinking, you need to see Chuck through my eyes. You need to know if I believe that tape was evidence. And I say it was evidence of only one thing. My brother hates me. He claims that he lied to me to get me to tell the truth. And I'm telling you, I lied to my brother to make him feel better. Which of us you believe depends on how we all understand the mind of Charles McGill.
Okay.
Well, we did promise
a nice
the defense
twist.
some leeway.
And it makes sense.
If
On the
Chuck
tape, he
can
does.
Act on the can act. Jimmy
Chuck,
can
I'd like to go
too.
back a little further. Talk about when these symptoms first started. It was shortly after you were divorced. Is that right?
Yes,
You think the stress of the divorce brought on the illness?
I doubt it.
In fact, your ex-wife is present with us today, is she not? When was the last time you two saw each other?
Objection. This is not family court. I can't see what purpose this serves.
I can. I'll tell you why my brother brought my ex-wife to this hearing. What Jimmy's driving at is the last time I saw her, I covered up my illness. I've been suffering from it for some time, but I went to great lengths to conceal that fact from her. Now Jimmy has outed me in front of you. You know why? To rattle me. He knows I still have a lot of feeling for my ex-wife. He's hoping this will break me down. Split me apart at the seams like a murderer confessing on an episode of Perry Mason.
I don't think that's the plan.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Complicated enough.
Do you have anything else?
Stop being a jackass.
Yeah, I do. This illness, what does it feel like? You mentioned it's painful.
It is. There's a tightness in my chest, difficulty breathing, and pain.
Does it hurt right now?
There's always some discomfort, yes. Electricity is everywhere in the modern world. Here
But he's
today,
got one right
I
here.
can handle this fine.
Maybe that's what he did. Like, did he place a cell phone in his pocket or
With
something?
the lights out, you don't feel them. Oh, sorry about the exit signs. I guess they couldn't kill those for you.
Well, they're not drawing much current, and they're far away. Intensity drops off with distance, per the inverse square law.
It says, could you double
Yeah, the
check
cell
the sheet?
phone.
The farther away it is,
He's not gonna
the stronger
act.
the source needs to
Because
be.
doesn't know about it, so that's
Yeah, yeah,
mental.
yeah.
Got it. So if I had a small battery, say,
That's my thought,
from a watch
too.
or something, and I got it close to you, close to your skin, you'd know.
I would feel it, yes.
Can you feel more current coming from any particular direction right now? From that back wall? Or from over there?
He's
Or
got one on
up
him
through the
right
floor?
now.
Can you tell us where the nearest source is right now?
Jimmy, do you have something in your pocket?
No.
Yes, I do.
Well, yeah.
As a matter of fact. My cell phone. From this distance, you should feel it, and you don't, do you?
Mr. McGill, you were warned to leave your electronics outside.
It's all right. Just as I thought. There's no battery in here.
Yeah? What about the one in your pocket? I'm sure he has one.
That's...
But they can't tell Jimmy that he made a mistake by bringing the cell phone.
God, Jimmy. Don't you know by now this is real? I feel this. It's a physical response to stimuli. It's not a quirk.
Yeah, he's about to prove you
What do I
wrong.
have to do to prove it to you?
I don't know, Chuck. Could you reach into your breast pocket and tell me what's there?
Oh, and this one is
What now?
working.
The
Can you
battery.
report what that was?
The battery to his phone. Oh my god.
Mr. Chairman,
You
please.
recognize that man in back? His name is Huel Babineau. He's on our
Huel.
witness list. You bumped into him in the stairway. He'll testify he planted this fully charged battery on you over an hour and a half ago. 33 minutes.
And he didn't
Thank you,
feel
Mr.
anything.
Babineau.
No, it's a trick. It has
Enough
to.
is enough. I submit that Mr. McGill's mental illness is a non-issue.
Yeah.
If he were
Now you
schizophrenic,
can-
it wouldn't take away from the fact that the
I am not
defendant...
crazy.
You can revise everything he said now. Oh my god.
I am not crazy. I know he swapped those numbers. I knew it was 1216. I just couldn't prove it. He covered his tracks. He got that idiot at the copy shop to lie for
Mr.
him.
McGill,
But you
please, you don't have to...
You
manipulated
think this is something? You think this is bad? This chicanery? He's done worse. That's billboard. Are you telling me that a man just happens to fall like that? No, he orchestrated it. Jimmy.
Now he's proving he hates him.
He defecated through a sunroof. And I saved him. And I shouldn't have. I took him into my own firm. What was I thinking? He'll never change. He'll never change. Ever since he was 9. Always the same. Couldn't keep his hands out of the cash drawer. But not our Jimmy. Couldn't be precious Jimmy. Stealing them blind. And he gets to be a lawyer? What a sick joke.
You're just
I should have
hoping
stopped him when I had the chance.
Chuck.
And you have to stop him.
Chuck.
You're just proving everything he said is right. You hate him.
And oh my god, poor Rebecca. Oh my gosh, poor her.
That zoom in and zoom out. Perfect. Oh,
I apologize.
too late.
I lost my train of thought. Do you have anything else?
Oh my
I
gosh.
think you just
No.
proved my case, man.
Nothing further.
Oh shit. That was good.
You know that it hurts Jimmy to do this, though. You can just see it in his face. And they were mild before that.
Oh my god. Okay, that was so good.
So
Woo!
it is confirmed that Chuck's condition is mental.
Well, we knew for
and
we
that
knew.
it affects him physically.
We knew, but that's one thing Jimmy has never allowed himself to do, which is see it as it is, you know, a mental condition. Every time people have been telling him, you know, it's not a physical condition. At this point, we cannot prove anything. You might want to, you know, admit him to a hospital or something. And he's like, no, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to play that card. Let's bring him back home. This time it got too far, and he was like, that's the one thing I never did with my brother, and this time I'm going to do it.
Well played, Jimmy. Well played. Oh my god, I missed Yul so much. I'm
I'm glad he's back too. Like, that was one hell of a cameo. Yes, but I'm still thinking like that's just a footnote, because holy shit, like everything was planned. You know, when he was saying, you brought my ex-wife to make me lose it, to make me, you know, say stuff and unwrap like a serial killer and stuff, and I'm like, that wasn't the ex-wife's job. Like, the battery did that on itself. Just making you think you were crazy, that's what got you to lose it. And he did all the work himself.
Yeah.
Like everything he said, and it's not like he just said, oh, you know what, okay, maybe it's mental, I don't care. No, he literally admitted that his feud with Jimmy, his hate of his brother, happened way back when they were kids.
Oh my god.
He admitted that he was onto his brother's case since he was 9. And the whole point of Kim and Jimmy's case was to prove that Chuck hated him. Because that's the thing. If they understand the feud between the brothers, they can explain why Jimmy lost it in the end. They also had a perfect in with the tape. If the tape plays, I think that's what she was trying to do last episode, when she was making sure that there was indeed another tape that could be played, because they knew that the way I think if they played it, Jimmy never said anything that could really be taken as, yes, I did this out of malice or for Kim. He admitted I think 2 or 3 times in the tape that he was doing it for Chuck. I remember watching the episode and thinking like, well, I mean, you could argue that he said he was doing it for your sake, so you could argue he was lying. And I was like, oh shit, if they take it that way, that's genius. That's exactly what they did. And once again, the point of their case is to prove that, well, Jimmy loves his brother, always did everything to help his brother, and Chuck always tried to push him away and put him down.
And in the end, he used his condition and he manipulated him emotionally to just deliver this confession to the fellow.
Yeah, and now, I mean, I know it wasn't in question here, but there is no doubt for everyone in this room that if Chuck is mentally ill, you can question everything that happened, everything that he did, or Jimmy's actions. If he is mentally ill, you don't know what he's capable of, what he has done in the past, how scary he might have been. And for a brother that loves him and brought him food and stuff and helped him out, it would be scary and would perhaps push him to lie in order to appease him. Brilliant!
I just want to talk about the speech that Chuck said at the end when he explained his reason for trying to just put Jimmy away from the bar. The way that the actor did it, I don't remember your name, sorry. I'm gonna look it up on Google, I swear. But, oh my gosh, I loved it.
The acting was
How
great.
he did it.
The acting was
great. Mwah, shut up.
Mwah, mwah, mwah. Perfect. Oh no, that was great. And the way they did it, like one take, just zoom in on his face because it gets more and more intense. And there's also, I mean, when you watch a film, when you watch an episode or series and stuff, interpretation is very personal. So we don't know what was the goal between every decision that was made by the director, and stuff, but I can almost see it, like the zoom in on Chuck. It's because every time it's about him, you know, it's about how he felt compared to Jimmy, because how he felt with his parents, because they always pardoned Jimmy. They were always like, oh no, we can't do that, you know, it's not about him. But it's like we're zooming into Chuck's psyche, because he's always been denying that. Like he's always been saying, oh no, you know what, I love my brother. But now it's like, no lies, you know, the veil is off, and now he is saying everything that he's always thought deep down, and he's saying it out loud. So we're going into his psyche, and we're erasing everything else, because it's about him. It's about how he felt with Jimmy. And then when he realizes what he said, and everyone else takes it in, we're going back again.
It's funny because
breathing it in.
The way he said it, I do remember that when he said that he loved his brother and that the love was the most important thing in this situation, the shot was from a distance and it wasn't moving at all. It's just
it's not personal. Not true.
It's fake. You just a white lie, basically.
You said in the episode that it's almost like he practiced it so much that he believes it. When you say something, I mean, he's been saying that, oh, I was acting on my condition. It makes sense now that we know that it is mental, but it also brings us back to him pretending that he loves his brother. It's acting. And I feel like he believes himself, like he believes his lies at this point, but the truth is, he's always felt that Jimmy had it all, but he didn't deserve it. And we've talked about it several times. Like, Chuck always did the work.
So you got a hair in the air. It's weird.
Yeah, I know. My hair is just weird today. We discussed it earlier in other episodes that Chuck always did the work, was always there for his parents. He always tried to abide by the law. He loves the law. He's like a control freak. Like, he's always trying to be perfect. And then in comes Jimmy, but because he has good people skills, everyone always forgives him, or they don't want to acknowledge that he's the one that stole money from their dad, and they just let it go. But Chuck, being the control freak that he is, and never getting that love and that support that Jimmy got, I feel like he was jealous, and it grew into hate when he became older.
Oh.
His wife loved Jimmy more, even when she met up with him in the future. We know when they were divorced, in the past of this episode, when they met up again, it's Jimmy orchestrated the thing. He went and drove her to the house, and he was the one that wanted to do the right thing. Like, maybe it would not have gone that crazy if he had said, yes, I have a condition, there you go. But Jimmy was always the one that appeal to people, and he's always the one that to Chuck, at least, it looks like the world is smiling down at Jimmy. He gets all the opportunities, he gets everything that Chuck always wanted and got, but without the work. That's how Chuck feels, and it's so sad, because I feel like because of how Chuck felt towards Jimmy, it kind of didn't leave any chance for Jimmy to be something else. You know, we've said that earlier as well, that maybe Jimmy over time ended up saying it, not like saying out loud or even in his head, but like directly, subconsciously, he might have thought, well, everyone thinks I'm a screw up and I'm gonna mess up and be Slippin' Jimmy forever. I might as well be that, you know?
Yeah. I really love how it showed us that when Chuck is feeling stressful emotion, he uses condition as a coping mechanism. Jimmy's told us that, but what said during the episode, that the first symptom appears shortly after the divorce between him and Rebecca, right?
Yeah.
So probably he was so stressed about what happened, even though that they gets the divorce on good terms, that maybe his brain provoked this condition so that his pain will be more physical and not emotionally. You know what I mean?
Like it redirected his pain. Maybe. I mean, it's mental illness.
Yeah.
This is probably the thing that we understand the least in about, you know, in the medical field.
The brain is a mysterious place to go, guys.
And I mean, even today, like he had a point when he was saying like, oh, I mean, it took years for the medical field and the doctors to find out that AIDS was a thing or that HIV was connected to it and stuff like that. It's true. It's true. The medical field is taking a long time to learn stuff about illnesses, but mental illness is like...
It's the worst.
It's the worst. Like, we know nothing about that.
So much time, and it's so much complex and diversified from person to person, on personal level.
So it's so hard to really... I mean, especially... since he never went to anyone for confirmation or treatment. Yes, there are people that could help him through that condition, of course, but it's still such a large field for us who were not specialists or anything. It's impossible to put our finger on it, but yes, we could almost say that maybe that's what started it.
We can only just theorize what's going on. Just like at the...
I mean, he's never really been...
Just after the all shut out when he said the explanation and everything was hot and open. We got a shot of him from the distance and he's just focusing on the light from the exit, and he said previously to that doors were fine because they were far and not so much electricity were running through.
No, he didn't say that. He wanted them to close them up, and he said, I agreed. I understand that you're doing your best to lower it.
Jimmy asked if
he said there is
exit. He said, yeah, I'm fine. They are far away from me and there's not so much electricity running through them. So I'm fine. But at the end of it, he was only focusing on that.
Well, I mean, the condition
was much more higher.
Okay, now I know why you're saying that. I mean, at the end, the condition was everything. The weight on his shoulders got so intense because he just got proof that no, he's not physically ill from electricity. It's all in his head. It's been impossible to prove it, but I mean, Jimmy did exactly what the doctor did. I think it was in season 1 or 2. I don't remember. But you remember the doctor that did the same thing? Like, she kept one thing in her pocket and then she took it out while Chuck wasn't looking or something, and he had no symptoms.
Well, she activated the bed.
The bed, yes, thank you. Okay, she activated the bed, and Chuck never reacted because it was all in his head. So if he's not aware, he has no symptoms.
True.
And Jimmy was like, yeah, I know, but what do you want me to do? Well, he did exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
He was tired of keeping Chuck in his wrapped up bubble of safety, so now it's all in the open. I wonder what people are going to do.
Oh my gosh, that was so great. Okay, guys, I think we're done for this episode. So, thank you guys for watching it with us. If you want to watch the next one, it's already up on the Patreon. That is just right down there below.
Yes, and if you want to see it on YouTube, it's going to be up very, very soon in a few days.
So, keep with us, guys.
Bye!